Hello, I'm Michael from Gypsy Jazz Australia. My website is gypsyjazz.com.au. I have a small business in Australia importing luthier-made manouche guitars or Gypsy Jazz guitars from all over Europe into Australia. One of the questions I'm asked quite often is what is the differences with the types of manouche guitar sound holes. Obviously, one of the things that does make a Gypsy Jazz guitar unique is that they do have different holes to the classic round hole you'll see on most of the acoustic guitars made in the world, and it does make them a different instrument to play. And I have the unique and rare opportunity that this week I've just received two guitars from DuPont, one of the most famous manouche guitar luthiers in the world, and I've got them, they're both identical guitars. So I've got, these are both the no-mate model. This one, they've both got Edemo back and sides and a spruce top. They're both made in the same batch with the same batch of wood by one of their luthiers, Patrick, both from the same luthier as well. But one does have the oval hole and one does have the D hole. So I thought I'd play them for you today just to sort of so you can tell the differences and make your own mind up about what differences those holes make to the tone and sound and volume that comes from the guitar. A little bit of background with these guitars, just if you're new to Gypsy Jazz, is that these guitars are all replicas or copies of a guitar made back in the 1930s and 40s called a Selmer Macaferi. So Selmer was a musical instrument maker and Macaferi was a designer and innovator at the time. And the guitar that they first made together was the one with they called this a grand bouche, or a large mouth, which is your D hole. And Mario Macaferi worked with the Selmer team for about 18 months, and then he went on to other things. And they continued innovating and changing things, and that's where they came up with the oval hole or the petite bouche guitar. Now, obviously, Django Reinhardt, the founder and god of Gypsy Jazz or manouche guitar, was starting off at the time, and these guitars just suited his style of playing perfectly. And along with his violinist, the amazing Stéphane Grappelli, they put together the Hot Club de France. And you'll often see them playing, the style of Selmer guitars at the time, because they were just perfect for the music and the type of rhythm playing they make, and also the sound that Django wanted to get from the guitar. Now back then, Django, his instrument of choice did become the petite bouche, and that just suited his lead playing. There's some conjecture that perhaps with the larger soundboard area, that the guitar had more volume and was more suited to lead, and that the grand bouche was usually played by his brother Joseph and others as the rhythm player. So they've kind of become synonymous with those roles, but these days you will see the professionals playing both types constantly and to great effect. And I'll let you make up your mind about the differences with the sounds anyway. But these days, moving on from that, the luthiers of the world, when they're making Gypsy Jazz guitars, they make all types of sound holes. So there's F holes, there's heart-shaped holes, there's round holes, there's no holes. And so, it's good for you to sort of try them all out for yourself as well. But these are the two most popular ones because they do date back to the days of Django Reinhardt and the original Selmer models. One of the things I will point out is that two of my luthiers actually do make an intermediate D hole. The Geronimo Mattias team, and also this is one from JB Castellucci. If you have a look, it's not quite as big, it's sort of something in the middle. And that's something else to consider. I mean, I like to have a couple on hand, being the lucky man with all these guitars, and my wonderful professional player, Cameron Della Vega, he says, we're an artist, we need many different types of paintbrushes, and as a businessman, I encourage that as well. Anyway, I'll play these guitars for you. I'll start off with a little bit of bossa. What I've got is a manouche pick. That's his Django model or his Giovanni model, and I'll play very quickly between the two, and then you can hear the differences in the sound. I'll try to play the same. I'll start off with a little bit of four rhythm, and then we'll move on from that and just try a few different things, and you can make up your mind about the sound. So here we go. Wish me luck. Straight away onto the petite bouche. to keep it the same. I'll play a little bit of lead for you. It's a bit of Borelli-inspired solo on Forcifora, but I'm no Borelli. But we'll give it a crack. I do like this one because it will sort of take most of the neck into account as it plays. Wish me luck again. And back to the D hole. And a little bit of La Pompe, perhaps on Neoprale. And the same again on the petite bouche. Sorry. Not so good. But it does sort of show the differences. One of the other things I need to talk about just quickly with the sound holes is that some of the professionals do find it harder to amp up or to put a pickup on the larger D hole guitar. I mean the actual neck, the fretboard does run into the sound hole a little bit. You can buy pickups that will do that. I know DuPont do make one, for instance. The Geronimo Mattias guitars, you can buy those that come with one that that sits on the bottom, which mightn't be ideal because that's sometimes where you're playing perhaps a bit close with your pick. But there are options around. There's also sort of button mics and that sort of thing. But it is important to note that the classic Steinway guitar that Django was playing is usually being built for an oval hole guitar. One of the other things just to quickly talk about too is obviously these are two guitars made with the same type of wood, so it does sort of show the differences. But perhaps sometimes you'll have a guitar that perhaps is made with woods that do accentuate the features of a certain guitar. One of the things I do love about the Alves de Puga guitar that I've got in is that does that. It's actually got it internally rosewood and sycamore on the outside. And sometimes they do describe the wood, the grand bouche as having more of a woody sound. As some, please send me your ideals of descriptions of the differences between the two, because I'd love to hear it. And also, if you like this video and you found it helpful, please give it a thumbs up, and that'll help other people find it too. But I'll play a little bit of Alves de Puga, the same Neoprale, and you'll sort of see what I mean. It's got a beautiful woody tone to it, and I think it is probably more of a classic D-hole sound. So So as all guitars will all have different features and different sound qualities, depending on the luthier, the woods they're made with, and just the quality of the guitar that the luthier was going for at the time. And even sometimes two identical guitars will sound a little bit different. Anyway, I hope all that helps you, and I hope that answers some questions with respect to the sound holes. And hopefully as this world opens up, we can all get together and jam again very soon. All the best. Thanks for listening.